Hi, I'm Tori Brown. Thanks for joining me today for fascial foot release. This is an ideal release if you're short on time but you want to affect the whole body. So we're just going to do the feet. You'll need a pinky ball, and these can be purchased on Amazon for a couple dollars. We get ours from optp.com, but any pinky ball will do. Just ensure that it is in fact a pinky ball and not a lacrosse ball. They look very similar, but these are quite a bit softer. So let's just get started. We're going to take the ball, place it on the floor if it's not already there, spread out your toes wide, and then place your heel right on the ball. Take your weight centered and then sink down. And that's it to start. You want to ensure that you are directly centered over the ball and all of your weight is sinking into that heel. Feels like maybe a little sensation there. Doesn't tend to be a whole lot because there's a pretty solid bone there, but we are affecting lots of stuff by sinking here. In fact, we're affecting muscles and joints all the way up the chain. Specifically at that contact point, we are starting to get into the fascia in the foot. Of course, we're on the foot, specifically the plantar fascia. So we're just going to sit here for a moment and take a few breaths. And each time you exhale, you sink a little deeper. And we're going to move to another spot. I'm going to go through this a little bit quickly. You want to spend as much time as you feel like your body needs at that point. There is no specific spend 2 minutes at this point and 3 minutes at that point. It's really a matter of what you're feeling on the day at the time you're doing it. So we're going to roll the ball back just at the top of the arch below the heel. Spread out your toes again. Put the toes down and then press your heel down as if you're trying to get your heel on the back side of the ball, doming the ball. And shift your weight forward. Now this can start to feel a little bit intense, and it's okay. As long as you are on a pain scale of 1 to 10, if you are at an 8 or lower, and with sustained pressure, that intensity decreases, then you're right on. If you're at an 8 or higher, or you're at a 5 and it stays at a 5, it doesn't decrease in intensity, then you want to back off a little bit. You're not likely going to hurt yourself, but you're not doing yourself any good. The nervous system is going to fight back and do exactly the opposite of your intention. So my toes are heavy. That's my grounding point, and my heel is wrapping over the back. Take a deep breath here. Sink and put your full mind into the fascia of the bottom of your foot, the plantar fascia, and focus on releasing and relaxing. And then step back on your free leg. Roll the ball now to the middle of your arch, and at this point you may need to use your hands to hold the ball in place, or your opposite foot to hold the ball in place, because you want, again, your toes down and then to wrap your heel over the back. So my weight is in my toes first, in the ball of my foot, and then I'm wrapping the heel around the back as if trying to dome the ball and pull it right up into the center of my arch. And we are going today just straight down the center of the foot. You can do, if you're short on time, just do that. You can also do the outside edge of your foot, the inside edge of your foot, and the center all in one fell swoop. So you could spend 45 minutes just doing your feet. We're going to spend a little less than that today because, again, this is a quick fix when you're short on time. All right, we're going to take a deep breath. Exhale, sink into the ball as much as you can sink without passing that 8 benchmark. And relax your body. Step back off of the ball, and now I'm going to put my heel down and press my foot over the top of the ball, still as if trying to dome, but now my weight is in my heel. There is a tendency to lock the knee back in this, so you want to ensure that your knee stays soft. Your body weight is centered right down over the middle of the ball. That standing leg, if If this is no big deal for you, you can take it off the floor and put your full body weight into that working leg, we'll call it. But it's really not involved much other than just a backup. Take a deep breath in. Exhale to sink. Release all of the tension from your head down to your toes, out through the fascia where the ball is contacting you, and reaching through actually the fascia and the muscle to contact the bone. It may feel as if you are going to break bones. This can be pretty intense. You won't. Okay, we're going to come off of there. Roll the ball now to the ball of your foot. The heel is still down. The knee is soft. It's not bent. It's not locked. It's just soft. And then shift your weight forward onto the ball. Stay centered on the ball, reaching your toes over the top, as if you're trying, once again, to dome the ball right in your, right on the ball of your foot. And it's just deep breaths here. Release and relax. And then come off the ball. All right, so for this next bit, you may need a wall or something to press the ball against. You could also use your opposite foot, but we're going to put the heel down, put the first two toes on the ball, and then attempt to bring the ball of the foot to the floor. So I'm going to use my opposite foot. My 2 toes on the ball are spread wide. My other 3 toes are off the back of the ball. In fact, let me turn this around so you can maybe get a better look at it. First 2 toes are on. The other 3 toes are off. And I'm stretching the heck out of my first 2 toes. And just relax there. Again, this standing leg, you don't want to lock it back, but put all of your weight on that standing leg right down through the center of your core. If you need a little bit more, in fact, you can bend that standing leg and lift the heel. Take a breath. And then release out of that. We're going to now put the next 2 toes on. So the big toe is off. The last 2 toes are off. Once again, you may need to push the ball against the wall or use your opposite foot here. And if you need more, you can bend the standing leg and pull the heel as if to lift it off the floor. It may not lift, but you will feel an increase in the stretch for your toes. So we're rolling the feet and affecting the entire body because there is a fascial line that goes from the tips of your toes on the bottom all the way through the sole of the foot, up through the back of the calf, the hamstring, the glute, right through your spinal erectors, over the top of your head and to your eyebrows. So this simple little release is very effective for your whole back body. And we're going to come off the ball. Shift now to your 3rd and 4th toes on the ball, and you'll want to spread them as wide as you can. And then hold the ball with your opposite foot or against the wall. This, as I said, is it's not timed. It's totally individual. And so you could spend 2 minutes and just touch on each spot to say you did, or you could spend 45 minutes, really. Take your time. And the more time, the better, because relaxing requires downregulation of the central nervous system, and that's hard to do in 2 minutes, right? So if you can spend more time focusing on full body release and taking your entire energy into relaxing, particularly where the ball is contacting, you get a much better result. Okay, we're going to go to the last 2 toes. 4th and 5th toes on the ball. Spread wide, and you can use your fingers to spread those toes apart. And you want to ensure, I'm facing the camera so I'm a little bit torqued, but you want to ensure that your body is as neutral as possible as you do this release, so that you're not ingraining a new dysfunctional pattern. For example, anytime my toes stretch, my head turns to the right. That's not something you want to ingrain, right? So as neutral as possible, and only using the muscles that are necessary to hold you upright. So you don't want to do a body scan and make sure you're not gripping anything here to compensate for the release in your foot. Okay, we're going to come off of the ball now and just stand and notice. Notice the difference in the hip on the side you just rolled. It may feel, for me, it feels like my hip is just going to float right up to the sky. It's open and airy. There's space. And though we didn't do any traction, I feel a sense of traction in that hip, a sense of opening. You may feel, some people feel like they're heavier on that side after they roll. You don't have to define it, just notice it and notice the difference between the two sides. And let's stand with the legs about hip width apart, right under your sits bones. Nod your chin and roll down. And reach for your toes. And notice the difference in the hamstrings between the side you just rolled and the side that you need to roll. Typically, there's a pretty significant difference between the two sides, and that is once again because we're affecting fascia that goes all the way up your back net. So if you have time to do one release in your day, that's the one to do. If you have 2 minutes, that's better than nothing. If you have lots of time, take all the time you need. Wait for sensation, wait for either the intensity to decrease, or sometimes you may feel heat or tingling, and all that is worthwhile. All right, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.